In Lesson 11.1, we're going to look at how to report the frequency that an event occurs. So, first we're going to talk about some definitions. A frequency table is, a table using tally marks to show how often an event occurs. And a line plot is a number line using X marks to show how many times an event occurs. So these are all ways to show how many times an event occurs. A frequency table uses tally marks, a line plot uses X marks, and a histogram uses a bar graph. To show data from a frequency table. Okay, so just different ways to show how many times something occurs. So let's try making a frequency table. So in the first example here, the data below shows the ages of the students in a karate class. Make a frequency table of the data. So they already set it up a little bit for us here. The top column is going to be, what do these numbers represent? It's the ages of the students in the class. And the tally is just a tick mark for every time you see that number. So you always want to go smallest to biggest. So 5 is the smallest one. There's only one of them. But then comes 6, and there's 2 of them. And I like to cross them out as I go, so that this way, if I missed any of them, I can easily see which ones I forgot to count. 7 has 1, 2 of them. 1, 2, 3 8s. 1, 2, 3 9s. How many 10s? 1, 2, 2 10s. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12. 1, 2, 3. Almost forgot one there. And 13 has 2 of them. So now I can see that everybody's been crossed out, so I know I hit all the numbers. Now a little side note. 5 times, okay, if something had shown up 5 times, I'd do 1, 2, 3, 4, but then I'd put a slash through it to show that it's 5. You don't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't want to sit there and count all these lines. That's really hard to look at. So it's just easier to count large numbers. So now you're going to try this quick check. You're going to make a frequency table of this data. So you're going to have to scroll down a little bit here. You're going to have to do all these parts. You're going to have to give yourself, you're going to have to put a title in. Then you're going to have to fill in what do each of these mean. This one should be your frequency. Nope, just kidding. That one should be your tally, so that's where you're going to put your little tick marks. This one's your frequency, and frequency is when you turn it into an actual number. Okay, so give me a number. How many tally marks did you have above it? And then this one will be your number of representatives. Okay, so go ahead and count up all the numbers. You want to go from smallest number to biggest number. In here, in this row, you want to go from the smallest number, which is 1, all the way to your biggest number, which looks like it's 9. Okay, so fill all this in, and then move on to the next part. Now here's a line plot. They started the line plot for you. Okay, so when you make a line plot, first you start with the number line, and you want to go from your smallest number to your greatest number, and this is the same data from the frequency table we made. It's the age of students in the karate class. So we had to go from 5 as our smallest number to 13. You can go smaller than 5 and bigger than 13, but you only have to go from the numbers that were on there. And you can't skip any numbers, so you have to have every single number from 5 to 13. Even if no numbers showed up, if there are no values to put in a certain number, you can't skip over it. So now, from example 1, there was 1 5, so we have 1 X mark. We had 2 6s, so I'm going to put 2 X marks there. 7 had 2, 8 had 1, 2, 3, and you want to keep your X's evenly spaced. So you can see that all these X's here are in the same height, all these are the same, these are the same. It's easier to compare them that way if you make all your X's the same size. 9 and 10 they filled in. 11 had 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again, I'm evenly spacing them so that they're in line with the ones next to them. That's what you want to do. And 13 only had 1, 2. And that's it. That's a line plot. Okay, it's just a number line with a bunch of X's going upwards. And then the last type is a histogram. And a histogram is just a fancy word for bar graph. Now, they're going to do intervals because it's just easier for histograms. So you can see that they broke these up in intervals here, and they just said how many hours people spent on the internet in each of those time frames. So from 1 to 4, I like to put the actual number here. So you can see here this means 5, and then 2 more, so that makes 7. 5, 10, and 1 more, that means 11. 5 and 3 more is 8. That's just 5. And 2 5s make 10. Okay, so now we got to label everything. What's our title? This is Hours, I'm going to abbreviate, on Internet. Okay, and this is the frequency. And this is the hours. Okay, remember this. The first column always goes on the bottom, and the second column always goes on the side when you're doing graphs. All right, so from 1 to 4, I have to go up to 7. So I go up, 7 would fall between 6 and 8, come over and go down. 5 to 8, I go straight up to, straight up to where 11 is, over and down. 9 to 12 is 8, so I go up to 8, over and down. 13 to 16 is 5, so that's between 4 and 6. Up a little bit more. And 17 to 20 was 10, so start at the 0, up to 10, over and down. Now, it's kind of hard to look at a bar graph when the bars are empty. So if you want to color them in, it doesn't like me doing that. So you want to color them in, it's just a little bit easier to see them if you color them in. Get out your fun colored pencils, some highlighters, whatever you want to do. Just a lot easier to see the bars if you color them in. But you don't have to. Okay, so now you're going to do the quick checks. Quick check 2, you're going to make a line plot. Okay, so remember you want to make a line here. And you're going to go from your smallest number, which looks like it's 21, right? All the way up to your biggest number, which looks like it's 28. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't skip anybody, okay? Label all these, and then remember the line plot is the one with all the X's going up. And a histogram, that's a bar graph. And you can make intervals if you want, okay? Use intervals. So I'm looking at the numbers that they have here, And I might do all of the ones that start with a 2. I might put all those in one group. And I might do all the ones that start with a 3. I'd count those up as a group. All the ones that start with a 4, count those, and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you use intervals, otherwise you're going to have like, I don't know, 40-something bars on your graph, and that's a bit much. Okay, so make a histogram, and then we'll check your work in class.